I'm genuinely the most terrified I've ever been to ever talk about anything, ever. Ethan Klein often talks about the eradication of the Jewish people being an ideology of the Houthi, of Hezbollah, whatever.
It is, yes.
Which again, are instances of that being true, yes. But doesn't seem to also acknowledge that it is not right for the preservation of Israel to come at the cost of other people.
You just said that he disavowed Netanyahu, which means that he does not think Israel should exist at the expense of other people.
I've never had an original thought in my life.
I agree with that.
I have a pretty intense anxiety disorder.
I'm skeptical of people who say they have intense anxiety disorders when you do drama.
There's a deep insecurity and fear.
I'm definitely sensing that as well. I'm an empath.
He hired AB because AB ran defense for him when another creator named Gokanaru made a pretty okay, actually, like I remember liking it even back then, hit piece on Ethan Klein.
It doesn't really seem like you actually liked it back then, or else you wouldn't have called it a hit piece. It's got to be tough to be you. I don't know why you made this video. This is what this video screams. Hey guys, I'm performatively afraid that Ethan's fans are going to make fun of me, even though this is the first time in a very long time that Ethan is very universally hated. Here are a bunch of really safe, unintelligent takes that I won't get any meaningful criticism on. All right, guys, let's pop into this video. Jump scare, huh? No, but all right, okay, listen. People have been sending this to me for a while. I heard it wasn't great. It's about Ethan Klein. It's called A Nuanced Conversation on H3 and Public Perception. Okay, interesting. Listen, I'm here for the slop. That's it. I'm just here for fun. So let's do it. Let's take a look at it. And let's go.
Hi everyone, it's me again.
Starting off great with the audio, obviously. That's not me, that's her. We're gonna endure.
And today, I'm genuinely the most terrified I've ever been to ever talk about anything, ever.
Why? What happened? What's going on?
And I wish that was a joke, but alas, here we are. So today,
I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna take it as a joke. Because, I mean, right now, Ethan is it's the most acceptable to hate Ethan right now than it has ever been. And I'm not saying that it's unjustifiable. I actually don't hate the guy. He's been crashing out a little too much, but, you know, we'll get into that later. But, I mean, what's to be afraid about? Well, I don't understand that.
Today we're going to be talking about H3. And I'm just going to talk about my feelings, my thoughts, the complexities, where I've been.
The complexities?
Maybe I felt like I've been too complacent in certain things. I felt like I've, you know.
I mean, it's just online slop. I don't know why we put so much energy into it, but
maybe run a little bit too much defense, and where my thoughts are now, and kind of my perception.
Oh, what's her name? Mika's Rhetoric. Sorry, just wanted to shout it out, I guess.
On the general audience perception, how things have changed, and yeah, everything's looking good. I look pale as hell.
I fucking hate Ethan's. I hate Ethan's haircut. I'm just gonna be real with you. I think it's just so ugly. I don't understand why his wife lets him leave the house like that. Maybe she doesn't. I don't know. We don't ever see him leave the house, but I hate it. It looks terrible.
My makeup looks like Doki. I don't have a lot of
She tweeted about being scared to post this. What?
Notes. I just finished work. Also, obviously, because everything has to be good. These are my.
Yeah, I just finished taking a nap with my wife and not streaming today. My life is so easy. It's pathetic. Yeah, that's it.
Very short, just like one page, little iPad note moment. Cool. Pray for me, I guess, in advance. Links, source, waste, channel, all that kind of stuff, all down below, including the link to my wonderful, beautiful patrons and members. Names on the screen. Also,
all right, very good.
While I'm at it, because, you know, this might be the end of my days anyway. I'm about
the end of your days. Wait, what is she gonna do? Did she fuck Ethan or something? Like, did this girl have sex with Ethan? And this is an expose for that? I'm not understanding.
To hit 50,000 subscribers. So if you could be so kind as to perhaps participate in such event, that'd be really sick. That'd be really nice of you. Yeah. I never ever bring that up because I think it's weird. I think even being called a content creator is weird, especially because I work like a people job. Job. Yeah, as if I'm not a person. But anyway, you know what I mean. So
I do. This is not a real job.
Yeah. Participate in the student loan.
I made a video about it on Papa Got Leftovers. About how, like, there's these influencers right at touch that say that this job is hard at all. They go be a McDonald's worker then. And people were saying that I wish that I was a content creator and I'm jealous. But it's also a very small channel right now. So go follow it. It's in the description, guys. Come on, please. Please. Please, I need you to.
Paying trade. Because that's where we're at. Now, no parts of the video, I'm going to maybe chapter it just based off of, like, different points. Or I'm not going to chapter it at all. I don't really know. So I'm going to chapter the introduction, though, separately. I know that I can do that much. Cool. So let's get right into the news, just like Ethan Klein's bestie, Killer Keemstar, once said. So there's a couple things. I have sort of like a layout of my time frame. Also,
she really seems so scared to talk about this. I don't understand why she's so. Okay.
I'm gonna do a disclaimer right away. And
why is she so worked up over this? This seems like such a small deal. It's just like her talking about Ethan and then I really don't understand. Thanks for $5 from Wildo. Papa, you would be scared to post a vid criticizing CM Punk. That's actually so true, dude.
This might disappoint some people, and I think there is a lot of nuance that needs to be understood here.
Okay. I hope there is really. Listen, man, like I've come to the conclusion and the understanding that like what I do for work is so irrelevant. We're talking about internet drama. By the way, I enjoy it. I do. I'm a catty bitch. I love talking about this stuff. It's just stupid. It's brain rot. There's stuff that I like to do that's a little more important sometimes too. But like a lot of times we're just having fun and we're gooning. But I don't know, man. You know, words like nuanced applied to like Ethan Klein. Like Ethan Klein is the king of slop commentary. Like, let's be at least like in my sphere. You know, I just feel like it's a lot of energy to come into the situation with. Like, I feel like she probably feels this way about it, and that's a little interesting. That just kind of communicates to me a little. I don't know, maybe a little out of touch, but
I have a public-facing job in the back end, okay? Plus, I am, if you don't know, which everybody does because I'm annoying, I'm a registered licensed high school teacher.
Ooh,
by trade. I don't teach right now. However, that is something I would probably like
then what do you do?
To do come like a few years, whatever.
Come? Well, I love that word.
And the issue with that comes with the fact that taking specific political stances very intensely can bar me from doing that forever. And I know that sounds severe. It sounds like I'm doom posting.
I mean, maybe. So then just don't post on the internet. Like, if you're that worried about it and you really want to be like a teacher, then just don't talk about it. Don't do this type of content on the internet if you're afraid about it. I mean,
it sounds like I'm being selfish, and maybe to a certain degree I am.
Papa, she probably thinks Ethan will react to this video on his podcast and criticize her, which his audience will harass her, but she seems way too anxious about it. I feel a little bad for this girl. She got too much anxiety. I mean, I feel like that's just kind of the nature of the business. What do you think is going to happen? You know?
I just genuinely consider my impact as an educator and my impact as someone who can work with youth and can work with and do research and do all these things as more important to me and more valuable than necessarily my social media impact.
So why the fuck are you making this video? What is this?
And because of that, and this is me being very vulnerable, like this is my genuine, and I'm actually really, like I'm so sweaty already, scared about how these will reflect, okay? That being said, and I'm only saying that I have been supporting the Palestinian cause since last year.
Me too, man. I always talk about it. I always go on Jerkmate, and I support all those beautiful Palestinian women.
And just in general before that as well.
Got some decent Israeli girls too, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's, I don't discriminate.
I took a course on colonialism specifically to learn about it because I was kind of confused about everything. And one of my favorite essays of all time that I've ever read is Patrick Wolf's essay on Palestine. Excellent, excellent essay. I'll see if I can link it down below. Like if there's a place you can read it for free. I have the book version that has all the different colonialism essays in it. But as such, I'm not going to dive super, super deep into the politics specifically. I've also vouched for...
Oh, like the politics of the situation, or the politics of Israel-Palestine? I'm not understanding.
For Jewish people in my videos, I've talked about how a lot of conspiracies lead to, like, or fringe conspiracies.
W Jews, guys? I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm ethnically Jewish, so if you don't like me, you're anti-Semitic, okay?
Lead to anti-Semitism. I talked about in detail, for example, Nerd City, and discussing how he kind of leaned into the New World Order.
I don't know who the fuck Nerd City is, but...
I've discussed... This was quite...
But I am a wrestling fan, so...
Reason I'm trying to remember who I was making a video on, because this is not really scripted. So who was I talking about that I was... Those...
Thank you for the 1 month small god from Isaac Martinez. Pop off top, but I live 5 minutes from Nick Fuentes. Okay, well, stay away from that guy. He gets very afraid of everybody very quickly. He might pepper spray you for delivering an Amazon package, so you better watch out. But
those conspiracy theories were coming up. I'm also trying to edit this very minimally because I want this to be a conversation. Was I talking about Jeffree Star? Of course, Jeffree Star talking about the Illuminati and the elites in Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. And I brought in the fact that usually that's implicit of anti-Semitic stereotypes.
I kind of get it. She doesn't want to be seen as anti-Semitic. Gotcha. What about Uncle Semitic, huh?
About education, and and the importance of not falling into those things as a result, and the red pill movement and its links to anti-Semitism and its links to Islamophobia a lot of the time too, to a certain degree, anti-religious sentiment as an act of evil, and vice.
I just take a question. Do you think anybody that's like red pill or any of like these things would ever look at your videos and go, "Wow, you just de-radicalized me"? I don't know. I feel like she makes videos for people who already aren't anti-Semitic and all that. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Definitely aren't red pill. I don't think I would expect any red pillar to look at her and go like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna watch this video."
Versa to as in a weaponization of religion.
I'm gonna watch this video
so
right now.
I just want that to be a clear stance here. Operation Olive Branch Master Doc, also linked down below. Actually, now that I bring that up, I just know that because I have such forward and bold opinions on people I talk about all the time, there's an expectation that my politics align. They do, I promise. It's just publicly.
Mine probably don't align with you guys, just so you know. A lot of people get very upset, especially on Instagram, when they realize I fucking I'm not a particular fan of conservatives. I'll post an edgy meme, and then they'll be like, "Oh my god, I love this guy," and then I'll just talk about how fucking terrible like Donald Trump is or something, and people will get so upset. It's like, listen, guys, I like edgy humor. Okay, I don't have an intellectual disability. All right, give me a break.
I'm very cognizant of my social media footprint, my internet footprint.
I'm not. I probably should be a little bit more, but I don't give a fuck anymore.
Because I just think where I can actually make a difference in my future matters. And
the way I look at it is I'll never make any positive difference. My wife does, though. She's a behavioral specialist. I talk about it all the time. So, like, I don't have to be good. She's the important person, and I could just be a big slot machine that funds our lifestyle. How's that sound?
And again, maybe, Mika, why do you think this way already? Because I've already run into these problems when I was doing social media and my student teaching internships. So that's why I'm saying these things in advance.
Did that stop you from it? I don't understand.
Now, I have the lineup of how I think this started from the inception of the podcast to now. So this will be, I guess, a chapter. I'll talk now. I have my disclaimer, my politics.
Yeah, here's what happened. Ethan once again associated with a bad person, and it backfired on him. Trisha, Hassan, you know, okay.
And then whatever, okay. And if people think that I'm weak in that regard as well, I understand, honestly.
I mean, you've been going on for like 10 minutes about how afraid you are of this, so it's kind of hard not to think you're a little weak. I mean, I think you're well-meaning, but this is kind of pathetic. So.
And I also have like a pretty, bringing my mental health is very silly, but again, I just want to be honest, right? I have a pretty intense anxiety disorder, and
listen, man, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm skeptical of people who say they have intense anxiety disorders when you do drama for a living. If I came on here and said, guys, I have a really intense anxiety disorder, well, then why are you doing drama content? Why are you posting on social media? Why are you making content for YouTube for tens of thousands and, you know, possibly millions of people to see? It just, those two statements don't really add up. Like, maybe choose a different career.
The only time I've contemplated quitting the internet with like certainty was in reference to discussing Ethan Klein before. And
why?
I was treated in a way that maybe allegedly in Minecraft could be considered harassment. Because
I've gotten it's I don't even listen, I don't know anymore. Like, I feel like most harassment most people get is just online. It's just like so stupid. Like, people message me and call me a big fat piece of shit, blah blah blah. Like, okay, it's kind of funny. Like, I don't care anymore. It's kind of funny. I don't know. Just whatever. It's whatever, man.
Because they were making an account where they were dedicated to like saying all this stuff about me and how evil I am, and then they were DMing people that I'd worked with on other videos that I was this horrible, evil, morally corrupt individual.
Who are the other people?
And all this stuff. When we talk about the inception of the podcast, it was not responded to well for a long time. And
yeah, because Ethan, like, Hassan's a fucking scumbag.
This has been discussed by many different videos at length, including so I was watching I always know that I'm right when I have the opposite opinion of Nicholas Diorio, because I was watching
okay, shout out to Nicholas Diorio. I'm gonna be real with you. I think these two would make a wonderful couple. All right, I'm gonna put her on the screen. We're gonna go look up Nicholas Diorio. Okay. Right? Like, this can't be him. How old is this fucking guy? There's a similar I'm pretty sure, right? How old is this guy? Nicholas Diorio age. He's 27. Oh my god. This must be an old picture. You're like a grown man, dude. Jesus Christ. How old is this girl? Mika's. I feel like they're the same age, right? They're probably the same age. She's 24. Oh, they're in a good age. The two of them would work. They would work out pretty well. She likes Squishmallow. Here, I'll help you guys out. She likes Squishmallow. She likes too much makeup. She really likes makeup a lot. She looks nice here, actually, with less makeup. I'm just gonna be real with you. You know, and she likes hand-rolled clay bead bracelets. Nicholas Diorio loves pinball and occasionally showering. I don't know. I don't know. I think that they could do well. They'd be a power couple, I think. Two drama creators. They would work out well. They would have some zesty intercourse, I think. How is that insulting to Nicholas Diorio? What are you talking about? This girl's not, like, that bad. She's not, like, horribly ugly or anything. I know what you guys are insinuating. Nicholas Diorio's, like, 5'6" and, like, 600 pounds, dude. All right, not, like, 600 pounds. He's a little chunky, though. He's got to get outside a little more. That's just going to be coming from a 35-year-old man, 34. That's unhealthy. You know, you don't want to end up like me. Fucking shredded. You don't want to end up like me, dude. You don't want to end up like this, dude. What the fuck? I'm just being silly. Let's continue.
Ethan Klein's video, or the H3 podcast episode about, and I haven't watched it in like a year, so this was like shocking to see these like vast differences, different setup, different show, everything like that. Chatting in about Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of Twitch.
Yeah, all the anti-Semitism on Twitch, making them look pretty bad. You got all these people, all these businesses pulling out now. Sad stuff.
And being like, oh, Ethan's gonna get all the tankies. So
yeah, I like playing.
But I was like, man, when I'm watching it and I'm having trouble getting through it because I'm just cringing so hard, and then my bestie comes in and is like, you're slaying. I'm like, okay, so I'm right. Anyway,
I think there's a good argument to be made that Twitch is anti-Semitic. Hassan is anti-Semitic. I'm not saying that like his support for Palestinian people is wrong, but I think that he uses it as an excuse to hate Jews. I don't think that that's a hot take. People do that kind of stuff all the time. They'll wrap themselves onto a particular political movement so that they can be hateful of another person. That's something people do all the time. I'm not saying that's what every single like Palestinian supporter does, but Hassan obviously doesn't care. When him and his people are doing a tier list that's like, you know, basically Arab to Jew being bad, like that's anti-Semitic. And even if there's really no disagreement, at worst you could, or at best you could be like, you know what, that's insensitive and you shouldn't be using that kind of rhetoric. But it's true. Yeah, I think Hassan is anti-Semitic. That doesn't take away from Palestinian people's struggle, but yeah.
The podcast came out. A lot of people criticized Ethan for being really unprofessional. There was also a lot of really famous clips that came out of there, such as Ethan Klein being like, "iDubbbz, I love you say the N-word," and then just saying the N-word a bunch of times.
Out of the Leftovers podcast?
The clip with Joji saying that women were, at the time, was still doing stuff on the internet, I think.
I feel like, why are we talking about stuff like this from a long time ago? I find that, I will say, like, it's a little interesting that you're sitting here talking about how paranoid and anxious you are in ABCDXYZ, and then you're bringing up annoying things that he's done from like 5 or so years ago. And it's like, yeah, he made some, like, he missed the mark a few times, but it's like, that's why you are anxious. You're anxious because and you're sitting here talking about how you try to be very aware of your internet footprint. You're anxious because people might do that to you. You know, like, the reality is one of the things about the internet and being an online creator is that you will make mistakes and they will never go away because it's the online internet. Wow. Incredible statement, Papa Gut. Because this is online. So if you don't want that energy getting hit, if you don't want to get hit by that type of energy, these are the moments where you need to try to be a little bit more intelligent and more charitable to people. Where it's like, yeah, you know what? I've done A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z wrong. I'm not gonna harp over somebody, you know, doing this bad thing wrong because Ethan, I think Ethan meant well back then. You know, I think that was his edgy gooner phase. A little immature. And that he's moved on from that. So,
as Filthy Frank saying that women were made to be submissive to men.
True.
Or apes or whatever, right? Our
True. My wife was made to be submissive to me. Let me tell you. As long as I don't disrespect her, she's made to be submissive. Let me tell you.
Neanderthal cousins were probably just like crazy.
I think God handcrafted that keyhole just for me, man. I think that's what makes me think there might be a God. Woo! Sorry, getting a little worked up. We had a nice morning. That's why we took a nap.
So there's definitely something like in us to like conquer. Men want to like
Right.
So it's, you know, women are in a nature setting like to be conquered.
That's an interesting take. I mean, like, this is the thing. I can appreciate the exploration of this philosophical concept of men being designed to, like, conquer. I think men do have more of an ego, and men do have more, well, that's a problem almost, like that conquering thing. That is an aspect of some men. I think acknowledging that behavior and then working against it, you know, especially where it becomes unproductive, is a very positive thing to do. I don't think that there's necessarily, they had that exploration, that concept of exploration, but I don't think he was being like, yeah, women are fucking worthless. I don't think that's what he was trying to communicate. I think that he had a thought in his head and he just expressed it very poorly. That's pretty much it.
There was also the clip where Ethan Klein was talking about Jewish people in Israel and commenting on their hygiene and commenting on some things that should not have been commented on in the way that they were.
The Jew, well, and I mean, Ashkenazi Jews were all inbred. That's why we all have all these
Really?
neurological diseases.
Holy shit.
Because back in the day, we had our little village and we fucking ran around in our little suits, and nobody wanted us, so we're like, well, each other. And to be honest, there's like stinky suit where like, bro, you have to be very generous to fuck Hasidic Jew, right?
How would I know?
How
Mike gonna say to that?
I mean, well, I've lived in Israel for 5 years, so they wear the suits.
I don't know. I don't necessarily see all. I mean, it sounds like he's playing it up to be funny, but like there are a lot of parts of the world that have inbreeding problems. You know, Southern America. I guess there's some Muslim countries with issues. Every European person, every English person. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a conversation to have, and then he's just being stupid on top of it and just like being silly about them. Like I just feel like this is not that big of a deal. Is this like really this pearl clutching moment that we have to care about? Cancel Ethan Klein. I think that the biggest problem with Ethan Klein is he shifts back and forth between wanting to try to be funny and wanting to go after people for making mistakes in this way where the energy's a little too high, and so he comes out the end just looking like he just sometimes looks ridiculous. You know.
They got the hats. They don't shower nearly enough when it's 1,000,000 degrees outside.
Also, I think that anybody in any Orthodox religion, I don't know. Sometimes I've been to very religious, you know, Catholic churches. Some of those people stink like shit, man. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
They rock the black suit. They stink, bro. They stink, and you know they don't shave. You've seen their face. Imagine what their dicks look like.
Wait, I always thought those were like fake.
No,
those are real.
Those aren't extensions.
Those are real.
Those are all.
That is commitment. I guess, you know, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it.
Their faces look so gnarly. So imagine what these dudes look naked, and they're all pretty fat too, because that, you know, that wife's at home cooking. That's all she does.
Not all fat.
Well, a lot of the ones you see are pretty chunky.
Hey, Ethan, what the hell?
Can
we get a picture? Yeah, let's see this.
Yeah.
I'll be the judge of how hot they are.
Harry. You asked for it.
So those clips were already coming out. And then
I just feel like, who cares? Why are you so worked up over that shit?
also there was criticism that the podcast was boring. I remember the episodes with just Ela and Ethan being quite boring back then, especially. That the guests were kind of all that it was. So, and people were really upset that they were no longer making the H3H3 Productions videos with.
It's so funny because maybe they were boring. I don't know. I just feel like that's that part of content exploration is just kind of being boring for a little while and just figuring your shit out. Like, no.
Which were their most popular and most liked content to this day. Progressively, as Ethan Klein started hiring more people, you started getting kind of like a co-host dynamic almost. So it's like you have now Dan, the producer.
Yeah, Dan the hoe. I agree. Fuck you, Dan.
You have Ian. You have Zach. That was the crew for a long time. Circa 2020, whatever. You hired. They hired AB and Lena, who are both Lebanese, and this is going to become relevant soon. Then you also have the hiring, who were also fans of Ethan's. He hired AB because AB ran defense for him when another creator named Gokanaru made a really long, pretty okay, actually, like I remember liking it even back then, hit piece on Ethan Klein.
Are you sure you liked it back then, or is it more okay? You liked it back then, but it was a hit piece. I'm pretty sure. Listen, I'm not trying to be critical, but it sounds more like that you like it now because it's acceptable to like it now. It doesn't really seem like you actually liked it back then, or else you wouldn't have called it a hit piece. Because that Gokunar video was not a hit piece. Like it was more of a like an expose of Ethan Klein. So, but okay.
And then AB ran defense for him as Star Killer with like a mask on or whatever on a video, and he hired AB.
More like Simp Killer. Well, he's not a killer. Well, he wouldn't be. He would be the simp. So that was a bad joke.
And hired Lena as personal assistant. Then you get also hiring Cameron Grants. Who,
I wonder if we're gonna get the take that hiring your fans is some kind of abuse. I feel like this is the type of person to say something like that.
Who was making memes on their subreddit a lot to do design work.
Memes.
Hiring Sam, who used to be dating Ian. to do graphic design stuff for him and set design, that kind of stuff. Then you have hiring of another fan, Olivia, who does writing. I'm sneering because
Wasn't Olivia like isn't she like a silver spoon baby and like her grandma got her the job or something?
I'm just trying to remember like what because she kind of does everything. So I'm not trying to remember her role. She seems to do research and writing stuff mostly. Then you have also the hiring of Swedish, another fan, Love, who does social media.
Yeah, it makes sense to hire your fans. Just to be clear, they usually will put more work into your work because they like it. So
I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so Olivia does. Is that everybody? Now there's a new guy named Nathan or something.
Nathan for you.
No idea who he is. Anyway, as they hired these people, and a lot of them being quite young, a lot of them being like Gen Z. I think Love and I are like born the same year, born a couple months apart. And I'm 24, by the way. You start having these like
Nick, she's only 24, dude. You're 27. Perfect age gap. Get in that shit. Get in that shit. Get in there, buddy.
I found, you started getting a lot more of these people who were much more progressive, politically progressive, and ideologically progressive than Ethan.
Well, Ethan is ideologically progressive. So, I mean, maybe they are more so, but they are already progressive, just to be clear.
AB and Lena. Because Zach, so Ian doesn't say shit. Like, Ian's like hiding, okay? So we don't know about Ian. But you have, and then Dan seems to, I think Dan is very left-leaning. But Dan also doesn't respond to criticism well. So when he has maybe socially conservative, even to a certain degree, like opinions on things, and then people push back, he, like Ethan, will kind of view it as the entire left's opinion on this entire subject and then just be pushed away. And then Zach, I would say, is somewhat on the more socially conservative side.
Oh, yes. Zach is the fat guy. Yeah. Chubby guy.
This is just how I'm gauging them. I can be completely wrong. This is a discussion again. So, but what I'm saying is...
Who's it a discussion with?
That environment...
Who are you talking to? Yourself or?
Was pretty stable in a sort of awakened centrist / center left vibe, right? Now when you started hiring AB and Link...
Are you... There are people... I don't think Ethan's like a... I don't know. This is the problem with like hearing something like a centrist. A centrist in like the most typical terms is just somebody who is a little bit more center. Like I'm probably farther than center left, honestly, but... I'm like probably center left, but centrist usually on the internet is a slur for somebody who's a fence sitter, who won't take a strong stance on particular topics because they are, they just don't want people to dislike them. I just don't really think you could call that Ethan a centrist in that regard, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm assuming she's referring to it like that. Like Boogie2988 is a centrist. He's like somebody who tries to like fence it as hard as possible so people like him. And then he stopped doing that and he just started faking cancer. So that's funny. Ethan has some pretty strong opinions on things. I mean, he has a pretty strong opinion on like capitalism. He thinks capitalism isn't bad, but he wants more social programs. He's had arguments with Hassan about it. He thinks Israel has the right to exist, but they don't have the right to attack Palestinians people the way that they do. He has strong opinions on things. That's one of his opinions sometimes are too strong. That's why he's having this whole crash out arc, and he's lost like half of his like fan base right now because he has too strong of opinions on some things. So, just wanted to clarify that I don't think Ethan is some kind of centrist.
Lena, who are Lebanese, who have been affected by a lot of these conflicts in the Middle East.
How have they been affected by them? Just because they're Lebanese?
Even though I think they're both born in the United States, but Lena's parents, for example, were recently in Lebanon, etc.
Oh, okay. But they're not there anymore, so it doesn't really seem to actually impact them, but okay.
Olivia, who seems to be quite progressive and is very...
yeah, well, every 23-year-old white woman is, huh?
Ideologically and socially left-leaning. I don't know what Love's doing. He doesn't say much. Cameron also seemed to be a pretty progressive person.
Didn't you say you weren't going to get too political? What the fuck are you doing right now?
Sam as well.
Playing like political bingo with the H3 crew right now. What are you talking about?
So you started having this sort of environment that was fostering these ideas more openly. And when you have your researcher, who is a sort of kind of left-leaning person, and AB as well was also doing research, you start to your content begins to tilt. And then...
Ethan was shifting towards more progressive content since Trisha Paytas. What are you talking about? Because like people liked her a lot, like more left-leaning individuals liked Trisha Paytas, and then Ethan leaned into that audience, and I think did so unproductively, and then ended up like getting audience captured by progressives, and then like talking to Hassan, and then blah, 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 blah. I don't think this was like a new thing when he started hiring these people.
You get to the debate era where Ethan Klein was debating Pearl from Just Pearly Things. He debated the guy who's claimed that he cured Tourette's. There was also the debate, he debated Fresh and Fit, I believe, at some point. There was, which I didn't watch that. I think I'd already checked out at that point. There was also, why? there were just a bunch of a lot of them at the beginning were people I didn't really know. I think that might be why I can't remember all of them. But anyway, there was these debates, right? Okay. And then streamer Hassan Piker was reacting to them because it was the same sort of universe of content creators that he was against himself.
They weren't doing the podcast by this point? I feel like they were, but okay.
The debates of the Red Pill guys, where a lot of the defense.
Thank you for the 12-month small gut from Hi, I'm Ricky, first-time watcher, long-time gooner. Incredible.
Tend to have to be these kind of left-leaning ideologies. Ethan Klein presented to a more left-leaning audience, and left-leaning audiences really like to watch people get dunked on like that. I think the very first one,
I think any audience does, but okay,
which involved Hassan as well, was actually talking to Aiden Ross about gambling. So now you get the show Leftovers, which ended.
I thought Leftovers happened before that, but maybe I'm off.
Essentially right after the events that occurred on October 7th, which has kind of led to a lot of the downfall. But I think something that a lot of people were not considering was there was quite a few small spikes that began hitting people. And I don't want to reveal the exact comments that I found, so you can take my word for it or you cannot, just because
show us the comments.
I don't even want to start getting into like any of the identities on the Snark Reddit or any of that kind of stuff, because Ethan's gonna go buck wild on that if it ever gets anywhere. I've been reading, like, there was a post about being a fallen fan, which is what Ethan Klein refers to people who no longer like his content.
Yeah, it's funny because now like people that he was referring to as fallen fans are now becoming more fans of him. Like I guess Nicholas Diorio is the leader of the fallen fans. I don't know, kind of a cool name, you know. So cool guy, dude. Cool guy. Can never be as cool as Turkey Tom, honestly. Let's be real here, okay? Or according to Turkey Tom, he can never really be as cool as me. I mean, I am the best fat guy. I mean, that's one of the things, is I am the best fat guy on the internet, I think. Who else would be better? Because Ethan's not fat anymore. And he's also Jewish. Ugh, I'm just kidding. I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish too. I'm kidding. But, yeah.
I guess technically by that design, I would also be a fallen fan.
I guess.
But the juxtaposition that Ethan Klein often puts to...
You know, everybody's like, oh, I don't like Ethan anymore, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. I thought Frenemies was the best thing he's ever done. And I liked his old content, too. I thought it was so good and so interesting. You want to know what made me stop liking Ethan? It wasn't like all his shift to this or that or blah, blah, blah. It was when Trisha called his wife like a bad word. So I can't even say them. I'll get demonetized. And then Ethan didn't even make her apologize before going back into the podcast. For me, man, that just made me feel like he was so weak. And that really pissed me off. Because I'm a simp for my wife. And I just didn't like that. So we're not the same, guys. Fuck you. Queso. Damn, you got me on that one. Thank you.
Towards fallen fans are people who are like borderline neo-Nazis. Like these sort of people who really liked conservative content. They liked anti-SJW stuff. They really hated...
Who are we talking about?
Leftists, they whatever. That was who he used to position mainly as these like fallen fans.
Okay.
But now you have fallen fans that are those left-leaning people, which now Ethan Klein often refers to as extremists, which is being often quite inappropriately used. So a lot of the people brought up these other instances besides the recent, what people are referring to as the Hassan Piker crash out, which I'll get into soon. And I want to go through those events to remind people what they were, to sort of maybe place people in where they started feeling a disconnect with the content. So the first thing I
think they started feeling a disconnect with the content when they all decided to virtue signal over Palestine without understanding it in any capacity. And Ethan just, instead of just saying, hey, this is my take on Israel, which is like, I think they have the right to exist, but they go too far. And Netanyahu's a war criminal, which is his take, and it's the correct take, by the way. He like went off about it and like went after Hassan and blah blah blah. And it might be nice and like, oh, okay, cool, because Hassan's like a scumbag. But at the end of the day, man, like it's unproductive and it was bad for his platform. He should have said his piece once and then just moved on. But he went out of it or about it in such an immature way, and I think that that's the biggest reason why he took a bit of a dip, honestly.
I could think of, which is not something that many people really brought up, and this is going to sound really crazy to come out of my mouth. But the prolapse fixation is an issue. It is.
What prolapse fixation did Ethan have?
She's an issue. For one, you have the issue of, that's kind of gross. So what happened with this is it started with Howie Mandel.
Oh, like the prolapse meme? Who cares?
Just raw posting a prolapse on TikTok, where it was someone prolapsing through a pair of shorts or something, and he was like, what's going on? Is this COVID or something? So it became a meme because everybody's like, Howie Mandel, the known like germaphobe or whatever, plus like just beloved TV host, just not having any idea what he's looking at. He says he thought he sat on something, which I guess kind of makes sense in context because there's no other universe where Howie Mandel would just be doing that. It was like a boomer gets TikTok moment, and it was quite wholesome and funny, right? But then
I don't know about wholesome. He showed the actual prolapse hassle on TikTok, but okay.
What ended up happening was Ethan Klein became obsessed with this and started showing this to everybody, the TikTok to everybody and stuff. But then also got involved with this sex worker named Hunger FF, who's really famous for utilizing his prolapse rear end to make content. And what he would
Does anybody really care about this specific moment? What?
do is he would sit people down and force them to watch this content when they were being interviewed by him.
Okay.
So he did it to Howie, which I guess sort of contextually makes sense. I think he might have had
Well, Howie was the one who did it, so yes, it makes sense.
him do it in person, which is even worse.
Okay.
Then he showed...
Who cares?
So, I mean, I guess to a certain degree you can go, yeah, that's like the joke, right? Like, that was the guy who did it. But why was he
That would be like the entire degree. What are you talking about to a certain degree?
showing Stavros? Why was... Is that his name? I think so. That's how you pronounce it. Why is Brittany Broski have to watch this?
I just sent it. This is the video I was saying I was worried that you were going to show, and you were like, I wouldn't show that.
Why would I do that? What kind of psycho do you think I am? All right, you're not showing the screen, right, Ian?
You're just gonna show me?
Yeah, well, if I show this at home, I'd be banned on all.
Oh, girl, we're halfway there.
All right, so it's only a minute long. Okay.
He really does like this prolapse anus. I'm not so sure how much of a negative impact it had on his content, but he really liked it. So God bless him.
It says.
It's amazing. It's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Eli. I wonder if I wonder if he's been asking her some weird shit. I wonder if she's a ride or die and she would do it too. Because like my wife would, if I was into something nasty like that, she would do that. You know what I mean? My wife loves me.
Yeah, but maybe you can bail whenever you want, but it gets better towards the end. So it says, is this COVID related? Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Wait, did you not see this, Eli?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
What?
Wait. Look. Wait, don't make me look at this by myself.
This, like, actually... No, stop.
She seems to be kind of enjoying it. How come Ethan hasn't had the custom wood burning girl on yet? Loser.
You're crazy. Oh, that's making me gag, bitch.
That's actually our friend of the show, Hunger FF.
I love Hunger.
Why are we making Anthony Fantano see this? Right? Why is this being forced? This is not comfortable content. This is not, they're not really
I
considering.
think that's the joke, that it's kind of uncomfortable. I just want to be clear. The word force, it might be a little disproportionate here because they could just close their eyes and be like, I'm not watching this. But
I think there's a lot of the time I feel like there's definitely like a element of feeling like a coercion because of the interview space. And the crew will often push.
Remember the digital footprint? I'm always thinking about my digital footprint, bro. What do you talk about? I don't care. What are people gonna know me as? The fucking weird guy that is married and loves his wife? Oh no. Like, I don't care. What the hell are people gonna do? You know how many people agree with me on every nasty thing I say, but they just won't say it? I'm a fucking grown ass man. I'm a dirty fucking grown man. I'm a degenerate. And that's why people like me. Okay? Everybody who's in here right now, it's that you guys are all fucking degenerates. That's a fact, okay? You're a fucking degenerate. I'm a degenerate. That's why you're here. You wouldn't watch me if you weren't a fucking degenerate. That's the reality, dude.
Back on this as well. There's also the event, and this leans into the next thing too, which some people refer to as bottom gate, where linking to this prolapse thing too, people have really felt that Ethan Klein was...
You say it leaked into the prolapse thing? That's kind of funny. Was that on purpose?
How do I say this? Inappropriately pushing...
Yeah. Ethan made a joke about James Charles being a bottom, having a loose butthole, which was fine. And then like a fan came on. It's like, hey, I didn't like that. I thought that was insensitive. And then Ethan was like, hey, are you a top or bottom? And just kept like harassing him about whether, his sexual preferences, which is inappropriate. I get it. Really going back here.
Homosexual men as inappropriate, maybe? Not inappropriate that he doesn't believe in it, but it was like a joke, kind of, And then there was this whole conversation, and I never watched this episode because I think they started it, and I got so cringed out that I just stopped watching.
Dude,
and this was something that I noticed was common with watching.
I didn't watch it because I don't watch Ethan. Unless it's for content. So I did watch it, actually. Holy fuck. I was at Disney at that point. It made me some good Disney money. It was pretty cool. Ethan, do something inappropriate again. I love it. I need the money for Disney. My wife's expensive.
H3. A lot of people go, yeah, I couldn't finish the episode. It was like too cringe. I'm like, well, then why are we watching it, Queen? Because I watch a lot of other people, I don't cringe out of their content halfway through ever. If I do, I kind of never watch them again. So what's happening with this? I've never watched like a ContraPoints video, been like so icked that I need to leave. Or I've never watched like a Smokey Glow video or a Megan Ann video or an Anna McIntyre video or even like a Foodie Beauty Girl World reaction channel video or where I've just been so icked that I need to like bounce.
That's the fun part about Ethan, I guess, huh?
So what happened essentially was they were talking about like tops and bottoms and that whole concept, and then the chat was pushing back, being like, hey, like,
it's not even like a concept, it's like a real thing, just to be clear.
This is starting to sound kind of homophobic or whatever. Dan starts yelling at them, Ethan starts yelling at them, and everybody is really like annoyed about this combativeness where people we're just trying to kind of push you in a right direction. So that icked out a lot of people. And I saw that on the Snark Reddit too, when there was the post of like, why did you stop?
The fuck are you posting on Snark Reddit? How are you gonna come on here and tell us that you're fucking got all this anxiety and you're gonna be a Reddit user? What the fuck? It's just so cringe. What?
Watching the show, a lot of people brought up that there was
Am I still blocked from the H3 chat? I don't know. Well, that's the thing is I remember a while ago I was like, oh, I want to say hi to Ethan on there or something. And I subscribed and I couldn't talk in there on my main channel, which was the archives channel now. And then I subscribed on this channel. I actually subscribed to this channel first and it didn't work. And then I was like, wait a minute, I can't talk on the other channel. So I don't think I'm like banned or anything. But also I don't think Ethan has any interest in like talking to me, which is fine. You know, nobody has to talk to me. I'm fine with not talking to him. You know, because he's got like sound bites of like everybody else, even Tipster. Getting really weird into the lore now, but no Papa Gut sound bites. Like what the fuck, you know? So I just don't think he has an interest, man, and that's life, and that's okay. It's fine. You know, it is what it is, man. So I'm not gonna cry about it. I mean, I have a lot of good sound bites for Papa Gut, but whatever. Like, I don't care. You're fucking lost, you know?
Also, this was a huge one. Sorry. I'll get to what my end was this segment where they were talking about QT.
You know him and he hates me. Dude, that's so relatable. It's so relatable.
Cinderella, who is a streamer on Twitch.
Yeah. Where
someone made AI pornography of her, essentially a deepfake video.
Yeah, and she cried and it was stupid. Yeah, I know. She's got too upset about that. It's not that deep. It's fine to be a little upset, but coming on stream and like fucking crying the way you did was ridiculous.
And she's crying. I also never saw this episode, thank God. I feel like I would have lost it back then. God. But I mean, I guess not thank God, because I ended up watching for quite a while longer.
I would have farted all over my pants if I saw that episode. It would have been fucking all I want to say.
Why?
This is so pathetic. I'm sorry.
Why? What is going on with you?
I'm sorry, don't mind me.
If you were able to look at women who are not selling themselves and benefiting off of being seen sexually.
Bro, this is just never going to be something that I'll ever like care that much about for Ethan doing ever, because it's totally fine that she got upset that somebody AI'd her. You know what I mean? But this response is pathetic, right? Like, we understand this. She decided to load up her stream to cry performatively for everybody. It's never going to resonate with me. It's all performative. Like, she could be upset, but she comes on and she hams it up. Oh my God, it's not even you. Okay, it's not that big of a deal, dude. And you're fucking coming on to have a performance piece. Like, I'm never going to be like, oh my God, this is so terrible. It's like, grow the fuck up. I don't care.
You're a monster, dude.
This is so funny. Crazy. This is my favorite fucking Ethan Klein moment. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I've gotten so much criticism over this moment. I don't care. It's so funny. That's my favorite one.
Why did you do that? Zach, what the fuck, bro?
Just
me not being aware of like the severity of this like event, I guess.
It's not that severe, just to be clear.
Cognitive dissonance as well that I'm not.
What's the cognitive dissonance there?
Proud of, I think. I think it was just a lot of it for me too was I didn't have anyone to help me with research at the time. Now Nor helps me, right?
Okay.
I didn't have anybody to help me, but the show had brought into these different episodes that gave me an idea of like research. So for example, like I would not use the H3 videos as research because there's a lot of inaccuracies. But let's say for example, like they were talking about for like Colleen Ballinger or whatever, they would get exclusive interviews that I was not able to get ever.
Yeah.
They would get a lot of exclusive things I was not able to access. They would be able to pay for things I couldn't access. So I would watch them as like a base.
Capitalism sucks, am I right, guys?
Of like where to find these things and then kind of expand from there pretty often. So that was sort of what I was even telling myself at the time. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And then I obviously got to my final straw later that year. But the
crying is always funny.
Issue was QT Cinderella was talking about how she felt violated that these videos were being made without her consent and often being positioned as real, which is very, very fair. Then essentially what happened was Ethan messaged the sound guy, Zach, to play Anouk singing Chestnuts over it.
Yes, we know what. Why are you explaining this to us? Okay.
And
okay.
Just to give you an idea of like how unserious this is.
I agree with that.
It's like
Dude, don't fucking criticize Anuk. That guy's fucking awesome. Don't sit here and say he's unserious. He's the goat. I think she's racist.
I'm gonna cut the audio now because I want to get claimed. But like, this is like what that video is and what it looks like, right?
This is severe, guys.
So it's like,
yeah, I know Ethan messaged Zach on the side, told him to do it. That's what makes it so funny. That's why the whole thing is so funny.
very silly, obviously. So then they sort of apologized for it. It was very weak, and people were really not happy with it. And it
Good. It should be a weak apology because he didn't really do anything wrong.
Actually became a meme that, like, it shifted into Ethan Klein kind of almost separating responsibility to a certain degree by claiming that what happens is he just gets into this, like, uncontrolled state he refers to as goblin mode. This also was something where...
Wait, does Ethan refer to it as goblin mode? Bro, I have a bad memory because I'm morbidly obese and diabetic. But didn't I come up with goblin mode? Didn't I make what? Aren't I goblin mode? Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I'm goblin mode. I at the very least, I feel like I popularized goblin mode to the point where my wife yelled at me and told me to stop saying it. So I stopped saying it. Maybe I'm wrong. Goblin mode.
Where he said that if there's another Holocaust,
what?
That Ben Shapiro should go first.
Kind of based. Like I don't care. I said the same thing back then. It's kind of based. Ethan said that Ben is basically guzzling anti-Semitic conservatives so much that if there was the second coming of a bad painter, then he would be the first to go. Ethan was right about that. I'm pretty sure I even said that back then. I think what I had said was like, oh, it's a little insensitive, but I get what he's saying. So, who cares? Why is that a bad thing? Is he wrong? How is he wrong? How is he wrong about that? What?
That's what Ethan Klein said, and I disavow this as a concept.
I disavowed this concept of what concept? Get the fuck out of here.
Obviously. So
the concept of Ethan being based as fuck? What the hell?
That was another event that he considered, that goblin mode thing. So he ended up getting this like broadcasting button where Ethan could push it and it would cut the last 15 seconds, similar to like a censor button on live television. So instead of really addressing, I found the QT Cinderella stuff, he kind of boiled it down to this like goblin.
Thank you for $2 for math class cartoons goblin mode, or like a goblin, a chode. Okay. That's so stupid. Thank you.
Goblin mode, right? Then crew members started leaving. In the last year. First, Cameron Grants.
Shit. Who the hell's that?
And then Sam. Cameron said that he received another job. He received a job offer closer to where he's from, Massachusetts, and he was moving.
Oh, good for him.
Back, and he also just really, really hated living in California.
Oh, cool.
Now,
good for him. That makes perfect sense.
Obviously, you can receive, when you're a public-facing figure as well, like Cameron was on the show, you can receive job offers like just randomly, right? Like via email, via whatever. I just wonder. I feel like he was applying for jobs to get that offer.
Good? Does that make him a bad... If he hated living in California, it makes sense he would apply to other jobs to get a better offer. I know you're insinuating that like he hates Ethan Klein, but like that's not... Who cares? Plus, if I worked for Ethan, even if I agree with some of the things he said, I might want to distance myself too, because like sometimes the way Ethan acts can be unprofessional. Like the whole Hassan crash out. I agreed with the energy, or I agreed with the message, but the energy was just too much and he became so unprofessional. Say it once and then move on. But he's been dedicating multiple episodes to it. Was too much. You know, that could make me as a person feel like there might not be a whole lot of job security. That's totally fine. But you're trying to make it, you know, so much more than it actually is.
Because I think in the...
It's a little weird. It's a little sussy.
Industry that he's in, you have to submit portfolios and stuff.
Okay.
That's just my tinfoil hat theory, though, in that regard.
Cool.
Then Sam left. And the vibe of Cameron...
Not Sam. Who the fuck is Sam?
Leaving versus the vibe of Sam leaving was very different. Cameron was very...
You're supposed to work the same job forever. True.
Apologetic. He was very sad. Sam was sort of like a moving on to better things because she began working for QT Cinderella. And in that QT Cinderella clip of the chestnuts thing...
See, that one makes more sense for it to be a... that one makes more sense for it to be a, like, oh, she probably didn't like Ethan's thing on, you know, whatever, the joke that he made.
And maybe I'll have the image on screen or I'll play the clip or whatever. Sam is visibly extremely upset at Ethan while this is happening. It appears recently that Sam has moved across the country, presumably back to Georgia. Oh, wow. So I don't know if she's still working with QT Cinderella. She might just be done with the whole California thing in general, especially because her and Ian broke up. So I think she just kind of wants to leave.
What is
Ian?
Ian?
I wonder about that too. Then you get to the Hassan videos. So what it began from was Ethan Klein started posting Instagram stories with Hassan clips.
Do I think who's hot? Cutie Cinderella? Is that who you're asking? Do I think Cutie Cinderella is hot? Sam Sulek, for sure. He's definitely hot. Who are you fucking talking about? I don't really think Cutie Cinderella is very attractive. Really not my type of girl. I'd be more inclined to create AI videos of this girl than Cutie Cinderella, honestly. I'd be more inclined to make AI of her than Cutie Cinderella, bro. Come on, okay?
Claiming that he is platforming anti-Semitism, Hassan specifically.
Now, well, he literally had terrorists come on his stream. So he had like an actual Houthi pirate terrorist come onto his stream, and then he played actual terrorist propaganda music on his stream. So it's not really like an allegation or anything. It's a fact at this point, but okay.
The big focus of Hassan's content is being very pro-Palestinian. And
no, it's not. That's just not true. You don't really understand Hassan. Hassan's content is about being anti-West. It has nothing to do with Palestinian people. That's why when you look at Israel-Palestine and you look at Russia-Ukraine, I would say somewhat similar situations. A country that is to some degree under threat from another country. It's more complicated than that, but that's what it is. Hassan will say that like Ukraine should basically just kind of give up, give Russia a bunch of land and just move on, even though they're being oppressed. But he thinks that it's okay for Palestinians to like die en masse to protect everything. But when it comes to Palestinians, he's like, no. Like, there can't be any deals. He's just shitting his pants. No, he's not pro-Palestinian. He's anti-Western. He does not care about Palestinian people. He hates the West. That's it.
And this is something that Hassan has been doing for years and years and years. He says about 10 years of public advocacy. Now, you can say what you want about Hassan. You can say what you want about Ethan. Yeah. I personally like the secret third option, Sam Cedar. I'm a Sam Cedar stan, I fear. Has he ever done
Oh, okay. I'm a Sam Sulek fan. Based, am I right, guys?
wrong? I don't know. Tell it to your mom.
You guys see do you guys see him with Jay Cutler? Like how great for him. Jay Cutler is like the best bodybuilder of all time, in my opinion. I think Jay Cutler's just a smart guy. I respect him. So
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I love Sam Cedar. Anyway, that's my secret third option. People are like, oh, it's Hassan or Ethan. I'm like, Sam Cedar. Anyway, so he starts.
I just choose jumping off a bridge between these options. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Talking about how Hassan's essentially platforming anti-Semitism on the Twitch platform. I think a lot of this stemming from from Frogan being his mod. Somebody who Ethan Klein hates because
she's an obnoxious anti-Semitic bitch. Yeah, I agree.
Frogan was tweeting about October 7th. Ethan Klein disagreed with a lot of her takes. He unfollowed Frogan. Frogan noticed and talked about it in Discord. And essentially said that she would like to support Zionism if that means Ethan Klein would follow her back. As these sort of progress, you get into what people have been referring to as the Instagram story crash out. This has been something that a lot of people have DM'd me wanting to know about.
Oh, can you show me the DMs? I'm just a little skeptical.
And I've talked about it in private with people, like with text messages and stuff, because some of them have just been so heinous that I'm
talking to your fans privately. Ew, that's so concerning. I'm just being silly. Oh fuck!
Just like
holy fuck!
Caught aback by this thing's like the existence of these posts. So one thing he focuses on is this one Yemeni teenager that Hassan interviewed.
You're talking about the Houthi pirate who Hassan said was media trained and is a literal admitted Houthi pirate that was on a ship that what do you just the fact that you frame it like that means we already know how you're seeing this situation.
Who Hassan claims is not a Houthi, who Ethan claims is a Houthi, and then
there's no claims. He is. He was posting memes about killing Jews. What are you talking about? There's no claims here. You can't. This is fence sitting. You're fence sitting right now. He is a fucking terrorist. He's a Houthi pirate terrorist. What are you talking about? There's no claim here. What do you mean?
Ethan pulls up all these different posts and stuff, and then claims
all these posts of proof. Wow, what is she talking about, dude? She's so weird.
Claims that all these the Yemeni kids are Houthi and Houthi people hate Jews and all that kind of stuff. And
that's not what he claims. Wait, well, he did because it's a Houthi terrorist. Yeah.
A lot of nuances to that. Obviously, there's a lot of nuances to the Yemeni teenager as well. I don't want to really get into that because I think that would take a lot more digging than this conversation I want to have is requiring.
Not really. It's just look at his Twitter. He's posting memes about killing Jews. What the fuck are you talking about?
And I think
this is what I'm talking about. She's afraid to, like, why talk about this if you're too afraid to actually talk about this like an adult? Like, if you're too afraid to be like, yeah, you know what, it's not good to platform Houthi terrorists, and like maybe don't make a video criticizing Ethan Klein. Like, what?
That I want you to be able to discern on your own.
What?
But there ends up just being more posts, right? So Ethan Klein does this show where he condemns this episode where he condemns Hassan, talks about all this proof that he has that he platforms anti-Semitism, and then starts saying,
"Yeah, you mean like him? Yes, because he platforms anti-Semitism. That kid, then he was playing like actual propaganda music on his stream.
Many Jewish friends and family, I'll have this picture on screen too, obviously. Many Jewish friends and family have reached out to thank me for the show today. I want to thank them for their kind words. I encourage you guys to please check in on your Jewish friends. I think you'll be surprised the amount of anxiety, fear, and isolation they're experiencing. And
guys, check in on your Jewish friends because they probably got some good holiday deals. I know I did.
Genuinely, and how genuinely happy they are that you ask. Cheers and thanks you guys for watching. So
I dodged that, dude. Fuck. Come on.
So, a huge premise of this Hassan episode 2 was something that I was very frustrated when I was looking at. Where one of the claims that Ethan Klein kind of hinges on is that anti-Semitism is something that is accepted in society, but all other forms of racism are not.
Yeah, it is right now a little bit more accepted. It's going away. But yeah, right now, there are a lot of college kids who don't understand what's going on in Palestine, who maybe mean well, but they're using it to hate Jews. The left and the right now both kind of hate Jews, and it's more acceptable to hate Jews than any other group. That's slowly shifting back, but like, yeah, anti-Semitism was on the rise. That's what is the reality. That was a thing. So
there's 3 main aspects here. For one, Ethan Klein claims that 90% of Jews are Zionists. Second,
Ethan Klein's definition of Zionism is anybody, and this is not like necessarily a wrong definition, but you can disagree if you want, is just like a Zionist is just somebody who believes Israel has the right to exist. That's it. That's literally it. Not somebody who thinks that everything that Netanyahu is, not somebody who thinks that everything that Netanyahu is doing is right. Right. So that's what it comes down to. A lot of people will use Zionist as like a slur. Right, they'll try to use it to mean like basically a bad Jew. There's plenty of different definitions of, different people have different interpretations of what they want Zionism to mean based on what they want the perception to mean. But that's just to be clear, that's what Ethan's take on Zionism is. I don't think that he ever should have called himself or claimed to be a Zionist because I don't think it helps his conversation. He should have just said like, hey, I think that Israel has a right to exist. They just don't have the right to do anything that they want. That would have been a fine take and move on. But he's kind of like living and dying on maintaining a particular definition of the term Zionism, which I don't think is like productive for his conversation. But
secondly, the claim that using the word term Zionist is in turn anti-Semitic. So these two things end up being linked, right?
Yeah, like a dog whistle.
Generally, there's the claim of anti-Semitism being the worst and being the highest rise and being whatever.
It
now,
is.
Obviously, anti-Semitism as a concept is very ingrained into Western culture and in culture.
We got to get rid of anti-Semitism because I want to make jokes about fucking Jewish people again. Honestly, I'm fucking Jewish. I want to make fun of Jewish people. I like it when we're in a spot where we can make fun of people, but people hate Jews so much I can't even make fucking jokes, or else people think I hate Jewish people. I am one. What the fuck? Sad.
Cultures around the world, which is really, really obviously evil and unfortunate and tragic, right? And again, I've talked about this when I talk about fringe conspiracy theories, I talk about right politics, I talk about the red pill, I talk about
Thank you so much for talking about my people.
All that kind of stuff. So I've demonstrated that as a fact in the conversations I've had before. The thing is, and this was the same argument I had with somebody in my personal life last Christmas, was sure, yes, but you also think being Arab in America is a cakewalk.
No, I don't think that Ethan thinks that or anybody thinks that in any capacity. Nobody thinks being Arab is a cakewalk in America. It's just like people, like we'll say, like the people on the farther right people think it's acceptable to hate Arabs and Jews. People on the left only think it's acceptable to hate Jews. That's the point that he's making, and that's like a fact right now, just to be clear. So
I think this is a nuance that's missing in most of Ethan's.
No, it's not at all. He wasn't even saying that Arabs don't have it bad. He was just saying that like people are too comfortable hating Jewish people. That's literally it. You're just being stupid. You're taking you're just going with a safe take.
Klein's conversations. And when we talk
That's literally it.
About these types of things and these differences, I bring up a Bill Maher video. My best friend, who I definitely don't want to play Minecraft with, Bill Maher.
What is this Minecraft meme? Are you talking about killing him or something? Like I don't understand what's happening.
Bill Maher did a video, and I'm going to look up right now on my computer as I'm saying this, what year this was.
Okay. Thank you for the $10 from Alex the Fiction. Hey, Papa, resident H3 fan here. Oh my God, watching this video. This girl's videos fucking sucked. I saw a good response called a nuanced conversation on H3 and public perception. That's funny. Who made the video?
Because I just saw it on Twitter recently.
Crazy.
What was it called? So this was a video from 11 months ago. Holy, oh my God. Okay.
Oh my Lord.
I lied.
That's
Well,
a lot
I
of
didn't
months.
lie. Bill Maher posted it on his YouTube channel 11 months ago. So he's still co-signed. Okay, so this is still fully co-signed. It is called the Muslim Dior Fashion Show, which is clipped from the But I'm Not Wrong HBO stand-up comedy special.
Okay.
Now,
What does it say?
I'm not going to link it because I hate Bill Maher.
Oh, okay.
And I'm also not going to... I don't want anybody to really look at it. And I can't clip it because I'm going to get claimed by HBO.
That's true.
But all I'm going to do is...
Just give me a rundown and I'll maybe believe you.
Just put a still image on the screen. This flew.
Okay.
And didn't only fly, was incredibly successful. This is a representation in the media on HBO of mocking hijabi women. If you wear burqas and all that kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
Being Muslim, a big part of it too, right? Because Bill Maher's whole shtick is the zero IQ take of, if you believe in a religion, you're an idiot.
Maybe a little based. Listen, I think religion can be a beautiful thing if you have a positive interaction with it, but every religion has always tried to oppress people. That's just kind of the reality of the situation a little bit. It's a sad thing. Like, my mom is religious, and I think that she does it in a good way. She loves people. She takes that fundamental core of Christianity of love. A lot of people hate gay people, trans people, women, children, based on religion. Children, what do you mean? There's no age of consent in any religious text. So, oh, sorry, it's when a girl goes on her period, just to be clear. So that's very oppressive to children, obviously. That's literally religion is used as a justifier for arranged child marriage. That is abuse, always. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, base take from Bill Maher. Sorry, why is that a bad take? Coward.
Despite the fact that all of my arguments as Bill Maher hinge on the exact same structural conceptual frameworks, and I've never
just shotgun blasphemy.
Had an original thought in my life. But
sorry, I want to listen to that again because I agree. I think
the fact that all of my arguments as Bill Maher hinge on the exact same structural conceptual frameworks, and I've never had an original thought in my life.
I agree. I agree with that. I know she's talking about Bill Maher, but I agree with that for her.
But my father-in-law's going to watch this and I'm going to have a really bad Christmas. Anyway, there is even a line.
Thank you for the $2 from Brandon Cavallero. I appreciate that, brother. That's such a nice thing to say. Thank you.
Where essentially a girl shows her ankles, like, because they're also all too short, which is besides the point. And then he, like, makes a joke about how she'll, like, be unalived, if you will, right?
Well, they are very oppressive to women in Muslim countries, just to be clear. So it's a real thing.
These representations can exist in American media.
Yeah.
And be openly accepted.
Okay.
I've known people in my personal life that are from like rural areas that will see a person who is a hijabi, for example, and then be worried that they're going to be unalived by them.
Yeah.
Via like extremist.
I just wonder what's going on under there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Terrorist tactics. I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah, that's cool. Muslim people also have oppression associated with them. That's cool. The point is that on the left and the right, it's more acceptable to hate Jews right now. That's literally the whole message. There's really nothing else to say, but okay.
Because I think it's just so heinous to even discuss.
Okay.
Islamophobia is so intensely ingrained in especially post 9/11 North American culture, but also Western culture, that I just genuinely don't understand the cognitive dissonance. Ethan Klein also
there was no cognitive dissonance because he wasn't saying that Muslims have it easy. What are you talking about?
Goes off about this FBI statistic about hate crimes to certain marginalized groups.
Yeah, and it went up amongst Jewish people.
All these statistics to be like the Jewish struggle is the undermined one.
Yeah.
When media representations like this can exist, like all of George Bush's presidency can exist.
So I don't know if you know this. We're talking about like right now. We're not talking about fucking George Bush's presidency. I don't know if she's aware of that, but yeah, you're right, girl. Thank you for the 5,000 from Jack Esposito. Hey, Papa Gut. Today I went to confession, mass with grandma, worked out, and chill with the homies. Next weekend Mexico trip to get lit. All right, man. Awesome. I like that. I think that's fantastic stuff. Beautiful thing, man. This week we're doing Christmas, and the next week is New Year's. And then, a couple weeks from then, Disney.
The sentiments towards people from the Middle East still exist. And I just think that there's a dissonance there.
I'm more just like the culture. I don't really like any culture that oppresses women, children, and LGBTQ people. So, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that, of any real religious culture. Oh, motherfucker. Woo.
And that dissonance is the main point of frustration with that audience. Because it's one thing for Ethan Klein to go, I don't like Benjamin Netanyahu, I don't like what's going on in Palestine, I don't like any of this.
Yeah, he says all those things.
But to then, every other statement is an argument against the people who support it.
What?
Because of the 10% of things you don't agree on.
Well, just to be clear, there's a lot of people that pretend to support Palestine in America that don't think Israel has the right to exist. That's a pretty big deal considering, you know, Ethan's from Israel. He's an Israeli citizen. It's not as I mean, you said this was supposed to be a nuanced conversation. So where's the nuance? What, do you know what that word means or what?
You openly attack.
I feel like this girl just uses a lot of big terms, and then she thinks she knows. Like her channel's name, Mika's Rhetoric. She keeps saying cognitive dissonance. I don't even know if she knows what cognitive dissonance is. She keeps she keeps saying nuance. I don't think that I think that you're using big words because you're formally educated and you think that makes you intelligent. But this isn't a nuanced conversation. When you sit here and you're like, yeah, Ethan disavows Netanyahu, says he's a war criminal. But he just wishes people wouldn't say Israel doesn't have the right to exist because he's an Israeli citizen and thinks it does. And you're like, but that's ridiculous that he would do that. Why? Why is that ridiculous that he would do that? This is not nuance. This makes sense. It makes sense, especially for somebody whose identity is Jewish, to be more sensitive to this conversation. So for Ethan to have this opinion makes sense. The nuance aspect would to say maybe, I see where Ethan's coming from, but I think he's too worked up because he's Jewish or something, because like he identifies too strongly with it. But what are you talking about?
Pro-Palestinian creators on a regular basis demand that their sponsors be taken away, demand that their revenue be taken away, demand their platform be taken away.
He's not doing that. He's doing it for people who are being terrorists, people who are supporting terrorism.
The actions aren't aligning properly.
Okay, you got it.
Because
Mika.
I think the biggest issue is Ethan Klein often talks about the eradication of the Jewish people being an ideology of the Houthi, of Hezbollah, whatever.
It is, yes. That's what it is. So that's probably why he talks about that.
Which again, are instances of that being true. Yes.
Where's this going to go?
But doesn't seem to also acknowledge that it is not right for the preservation of Israel to come at the cost of other people.
You just said that he disavowed Netanyahu. Which means that he does not think Israel should exist at the expense of other people. Do you know? It's got to be tough to be you. I don't know why you made this video. Here's this video. This is what this video screams from start to finish. Hey guys, I'm performatively afraid that fans are gonna make fun of me, even though this is the first time in a very long time that Ethan is very universally hated. Here are a bunch of really safe, unintelligent takes that I won't get any meaningful criticism on because that's most of my content, I guess. Also, I have horrible anxiety and I'm a drama creator, which makes no fucking sense. What? What are you doing? What is this video? This is just silly. Okay. All right, cool. Great stuff.
Because he always says they want 8 million Jewish people to be displaced from Israel. And then that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, well, that would be what would happen if there is no Israel left. Hassan literally says that he thinks a one-state solution would be good, which it wouldn't be. These two groups of people cannot coexist right now. But okay.
Which again, I don't think is a lot of the arguments that a lot of people have.
They are. You're just too stupid to actually look at the conversation because you safe take this. That's literally it. There's a lot of people who just look at this. Like, socially, the right take is being pro-Palestine. And I'm not saying it's wrong to be pro-Palestine, but that's as far as a lot of people will go. That's as far as she got. Like, Palestine good, Israel bad. That's for somebody that claims to be nuanced. It's just a very interesting take.
There are, of course, people who are anti-Semitic on the left that are saying, yes. But also, that doesn't mean that your argument...
That's what Hassan Piker is saying, you fucking idiot. Like, are you stupid? You realize that he wants a one-state solution, right? Like, you're aware of this? No?
The absolute arguments are correct either. You see what I'm saying? That there is, to a certain degree, a nuance to these things. And
well, I don't know where they are.
A nuance that I'm so scared that I'm not relaying properly.
Well, your fears are correct. I'll tell you that.
But the preservation of the Jewish people in Israel should not be coming at the cost of Palestinians.
Ethan agrees with that. So you're just saying words at this point. What's your point? That's what Ethan agrees with that. Oh, fuck my balls. Sorry about that, guys.
Shouldn't be coming at the cost of Lebanese people.
Okay.
Shouldn't be coming at the cost of Yemeni people.
Cool.
And that's the main point the audience isn't liking.
No,
because
it's not. It's not the main point. The main point is that half of his audience was fucking Hassan cum guzzling idiots that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And like he absorbed that viewership, and like that's it. That's literally it.
Ethan,
they're unintelligent.
Seems to be pushing the contrary, and you can add in your little anecdote that you don't like it, but when everything else surrounding it seems to not relate, that's why people are feeling the way that they're feeling.
No, it's not.
Ethan Klein requests nuance for his takes, but asserts his own opinions on others. For example, the Twitch panel with the Love Sabra category, talking about the Habibi pass.
Yeah, that was just anti-Semitic.
This is a joke that
it's an anti-Jewish joke. I mean, the joke. What is the joke? Hey, you're Arab to Jew tier list. What's the joke? What's the joke?
Can be taken too far. It is also a joke that I've seen in other contexts. Hassan brought up a tier list of having, for example, with Black Americans, who's invited to the cookout versus something like people who make boxed mac and cheese or something. I can't remember the analogy, but anyway. Also, Ethan Klein uplifts creators recently that do not support Palestine.
Like who?
For example, Lonerbox, who's like this with Destiny.
Okay, now I get it. I forgot everything's like it's like an online political thing. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Sorry, what's that one guy's name that's like literal psychopath that Hassan's been fucking like gooning and edging with? Like which guy is that again? Oh yeah, Bad Empanada. Isn't he like a psychopath? But all of a sudden, because he's being fucking anti-Semitic, like he's all good to Hassan? That's not concerning?
Literally debated Norman Finkelstein on the fact that the genocide is okay.
No, that's not what it is. Just to be clear, because I'm not going into a whole fucking Destiny thing. Destiny is actually very intelligent. He tends to understand everything he's talking about. He does a deep amount of research, but he's immature. And he is not very empathetic. And so when he talks about Israel-Palestine, I don't think that he's wrong about things, but I think that he doesn't respect people's feelings on these topics, which are a massive part of the conversation. That's literally it. That's pretty much all Destiny's problem is that he's very smart. He formally educates himself on anything. He spends like tens of hours educating himself on everything, going through like review-peered articles, going through Wikipedia, looking at their sources. But then he comes out the other end like a little, cringy little debate lord, where he won't be empathetic about it, and he'll make too many very insensitive jokes. That's the problem with Destiny. And if he would just get his shit together and stop doing that, like I think that he would be received much better. I'm gonna fucking die. He would be received much better. But that doesn't make him wrong. That makes him like a stupid little fuck. Like he has to stop doing that because he's hurting himself. So yeah, fuck my balls. That's it. But we're not gonna go into like a whole back and forth about this whole thing.
And I'm gonna have a little bit of censoring because I want the video to have reach and not get age restricted.
Okay.
But they're just contrary to each other, right?
Okay.
Lonerbox specifically pissed me off because, for example, and this is a clip that was circling as well, Lena, AB, and Olivia ask about aid. They ask about the civilians. And Lonerbox just keeps going, well, I'm not understanding your question. And then just dancing around it. Because he doesn't have an answer.
Fuck.
Because
hey, what about the aid going to Gaza? Oh, yeah. I forgot Hamas steals all of it.
It's morally reprehensible. There's also the concept of grouping Jewish people with Zionism that many people have pointed out in itself can be deemed as anti-Semitic. I think Ethan Klein has openly attacked anti-Zionist Jewish people, such as someone who was who was on Hassan's stream. He also says that it's
yeah, because they agree with Hassan, the person who promotes terrorism. So yeah, anti-Jewish terrorism. So like, wow, why would he do that?
Really it's giving gaslighting, and it's really demeaning for people to suggest that Ethan Klein talks to a Jewish person. It's because you keep saying when people criticize you that they don't understand because they're not Jewish. So then they go, okay, well then talk to a Jewish person. There are anti-Zionist Jews, Sam Cedar. And you won't do it. So it's like you're just constantly saying all I want to, essentially relaying, it's like all you want to do is complain. And all you want to do is just be agreed with. Which I guess to a certain degree everybody wants. I just think
Find the tomb of the
that's as much of
consort.
the politics I can get into. But things have clearly been going badly.
That's the extent of the politics. That's your whole thing was just politics for like the past however long.
And people have also been joking a lot about how Ethan Klein, like enemies, have begun to like supersede him. And this has continued on the Instagram crash out, and I have screenshots for that too.
Well, you have screenshots for that, but you don't have like screenshots for the other things that you. we have screenshots and clips for some things, but some other things you don't. Why? Why don't you have clips for everything? What is with what?
Such as Trisha Paytas going on SNL,
Okay.
and apparently Broadway. I'm not sure about the Broadway one, like how the logistics of that whole thing.
Okay.
Hassan also did a speech about Israel and Palestine at Cambridge University, and talking about Trisha. People have been claiming that Ethan Klein has made the segment about him, saying that he thinks it's really bad that the stories often being posted where Trisha Paytas' ex-podcast host said he cut off his arm if she ended up on SNL, and now he's got to cut off his arm. So people have been talking about how Ethan Klein is essentially like miserable and pandering.
When you talk about these things, do you realize how unserious and worthless all of the topics that we're even engaging in are? The energy, which is fine, but the energy you have is like, this is the end of the world, most important thing. You're fucking sitting here. I might die for posting this. I'm so scared. You just realize the string of words that you just said, like how unserious this whole thing is. Like, why are you taking this so seriously? I just really like. This is what I hate about drama people. I'm a drama person, but like I feel like most of them are just so up. Like they're so. There's so much energy to this. It's not that fucking serious, dude. Ethan did like a stupid little fucking podcast thing about Trisha Paytas getting on SNL. And he was being silly and stupid, and obviously he was a little bitter, and it wasn't that deep. But people are, there's people that are saying, that these things. What fucking people? Who? What people? You just jumped from Israel-Palestine conflict to fucking Ethan Trisha Paytas SNL. You realize how fucking insane that is? That you even would the audacity to even talk about the same things at the same time is just bizarre to me. Like what the fuck just happened? It's just ridiculous. Okay.
And whining and whatever. So he started weirdly posting on his Instagram story just stuff like, everything is pointless. About to enter my Joker era. And then...
I mean, I'd be fucking pissed too. Like, Trisha Paytas, like, whatever. She like fucking she lied about that guy, Mr. Ryby. Whatever, dude. I don't even care. We're not even going to get into it. I don't care. Moving on. Has this as his gotcha, which has seemed to have been the vibe of a lot of recent months. Bro, we're talking about... Okay, I don't even feel like getting into it. She's just a bad person. Worse than Ethan in every... Like, I can see why he'd be annoyed by it. Psych spelt wrong. Bitch, I'm glowing. Again, reminiscent... Psych spelt wrong? Bitch, I'm glowing? I think he spelt it like psychology. It doesn't matter. Of the vibe that... You definitely got him. Where'd you get your education? Arkansas? There's a deep insecurity and fear. Definitely. And I'm definitely sensing that as well. I'm an empath. I'm sensing that through the screen right now. Ethan Klein also revealed that the revenue from November had gone down 10% from the previous, what was their lowest month by 10% or whatever since this year for the podcast. Crazy. Now, I don't think people realize how serious that is because it's November. Last month, I made 3 videos. Whoa. I think. Not a lot of videos. We did not make a lot of videos in November. I was tired. I transitioned jobs very, very late October. Whoa. So I made one on October 28th. 1, 2, 3, 4 videos in November. I made double what I made most months in November. Whoa. I actually made less. That's pretty much how it always works when you do controversial content, at least in my experience. So it is what it is. And obviously I had a video get over 100,000 views, which is pretty base and epic. Thank you for that, by the way. So that obviously helped. But double is not proportionate. So if your revenue is lower in November... Yeah, it is. That means it's going to be exponentially lower come January. Not my experience. I know that there's more ad revenue to go around right now, but I usually do worse towards the end of the year, and then I pick up at the beginning of the year. So I'm not really worried about it. And my low this year is... pretty good. November should never be your worst month. November and December you should be juicing on nothing. Okay. I'm also, again, just the 2 videos I've put out this month, 2 videos. 10% is not bad, yeah, for like getting half the views. So. It is projecting that I will again make double what I make in a normal month. Crazy. I also forgot to mention, and this is where I'll end off my last thing, it's just a little weird that we're talking about this right now because you literally admitted that this isn't your main job, which means you can't like financially support yourself on this job. So it's a little bit bizarre that you're making this point because Ethan had a bad month after his whole Hassan crash out. Personal leaving point. In fact, that was one of the things that actually gave us some money. We had something to talk about because there's just nothing to talk about right now. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy at the end of the year. There's really no controversy to talk about. That's why I'm trying not to sweat it. Yeah, Ethan gets 500,000 views on a bad day. True. It's very true.
Which, again, does not contribute well to Ethan's claims. Aaron Bushnell last year, or earlier this year, might have been January. I'll actually look up the date of
Oh, the fucking idiot that lit himself on fire. Yeah.
February 25th.
And then Ethan's take was like, yeah, we probably shouldn't praise this guy because it's dangerous because he lit himself on fire. Kind of a based Ethan Klein take. You know?
This year. So this is when I checked out.
Okay.
Aaron Bushnell self-immolated.
Yeah.
Self-immolation means to set yourself on fire in protest.
Really? Can you define nuance for me too?
Ethan Klein, and I was actually a member at this time because what happened was
Whoa.
when the BBTV fallout happened in 2023, Ethan Klein was talking about it on his members' videos. So I signed up for the membership. And then
So you signed up for a membership for content.
forgot that I had it. And then I tried to cancel it a couple times.
Sorry. Okay. I just want to be very clear. Right now, she's talking about how she was a member at this time, trying to insinuate that she was like a devout member. And then she's like, yeah, I basically forgot to cancel my memberships. Okay. So what are you talking about?
On my PC, and it wouldn't work. It would just refresh, and I would still be joined, and it wouldn't work. Month and month and month. I would just randomly remember, because I was told that you couldn't cancel it on your phone. One day, I tried it on my phone, and it instantly worked.
Whoa.
Right after this Aaron Bushnell stuff. When I was like, you know what? I'm done with everything. I'm
I'm so
unsubscribing the whole
done
night.
with this guy.
Because of the comments that Ethan Klein was making, essentially mocking Aaron Bushnell's efforts and the impact that he had.
Dude, he fucking took his own life. He was an idiot and he had a mental problem, and people shouldn't be praising him for it. Should be clear, okay? I'm sorry. He obviously has a mental problem. He's like for anybody to light themselves on fire is insane.
And if I can find the clip on that, I'll insert it here.
I don't care.
My first reaction is this. It was absolutely insane how he like stood the whole time. That was crazy. I didn't know how that's humanly possible. Again, not to put this uncouth, but he's a champ at burning. I mean, that sounds bad, but he did it really good. Does that sound bad? We have to make levity of things. Does that sound bad that he was really good? I mean that as a compliment.
Okay. So stupid.
What the f are you guys angry about, you weirdos? What did I do? My God, stop. They just say all I hear is Ethan no, but I don't understand what I even said.
The disrespect
Ethan just has to like keep his audience and like has to just grow his audience with his energy because he just flops all around the place with like the different types of energies that he has.
of that effort and the mocking of the...
That's really fucked up, August. His only impact was being mentioned during H3 videos. Kind of true, yeah. He did stay on his feet for a long time. I guess that's impressive. He obviously had a fucking mental disorder, man. That's some sad stuff. I mean, the American military, am I right?
Concept and the harshness and lack of humanity really highlighted to me those feelings I had acquired from those other instances.
Yeah, I don't think that we should be glorifying people who take their own lives, just to be clear. It's probably not good for that's probably not a good idea.
And the core of where I felt like they all came. And that was my end point. That was when I said...
You literally just said that you weren't even like a follower of him. You were trying to cancel your subscription for so long. You're like, yeah, this was my end point when I was trying to cancel my sub for 3 months and I couldn't do it. And then he was mean to this guy who had a mental issue and lit himself on fire. Like, okay, like I don't know what to tell you. We shouldn't glorify those people's behavior. That's fucking insane.
You know what? I'm having a lot of cognitive dissonance about this.
Dude, what the fuck does cognitive dissonance mean to you? You're having a lot of cognitive dissonance about this? What does that mean? Cognitive dissonance is like the idea where you apply like two sets of principles to two different situations. Like that's what cognitive dissonance is, based on your own bias. What do you mean you're having cognitive dissonance about this? What the fuck does that mean? What?
And I don't
like. Am I wrong about what am I misinformed? The state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as related to behavior and decisions. Wait, what does she mean?
I had acquired from those other instances, and the core of where I felt like they all came. And that was my end point. That was when I said, you know what? I'm having a lot of cognitive dissonance about this.
You edited this video and you still use that word wrong? I don't understand. What the fuck's happening?
And I don't appreciate this content. I don't appreciate how it makes me feel. I don't appreciate the impact that it has.
Why does it make you feel a certain way? You don't think that's kind of weak to feel a certain way about this?
So with that, I'm going to conclude, and hopefully my address doesn't end up on Reddit. This is just my nuanced conversation on my feelings about it, and I hope...
Dude, we are just making liberties with words like nuance and cognitive dissonance and every other word that exists in the English language, but okay.
...that you appreciated it. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
Just love Sosa, oh and or no, and fucking with them old boys, you gon' get fucked over. Raries and Rovers, these hoes love cheap Sosa.
Oh, weird and insensitive. Having a lot of cognitive dissonance about that. Okay, great video.